Alright, welcome back to the channel. Warhammer Man back in the studio, and it's time to take a look at some of the new Tyranids rules in the upcoming Codex. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, and warcry content as well. Make your whole army dance to the tune of powerful new synaptic imperatives in CODEX TYRANIDS. The tendrils of the Hive fleets are inexorably coiling their way around the galaxy, choking out the stars and preparing to tuck into a billion-course meal. The monstrous CODEX TYRANIDS is on the way, so it's time to grab your rubber gloves and cut through the chitin to study its pulsating, rules-filled heart. Our first point of observation: these voracious bugs have evolved. Tyranid armies have always been guided by powerful Synapse creatures, living psychic relays for the hive mind's control. But these vital beasties are now packing a set of all-new powers known as Synaptic Imperatives. Obviously, this is a pretty awesome battlefield right here. You can see quite a bit of Tyranid diversity. Definitely swarming over the orc planet. Very, very cool. Definitely liking this. That is a awesome, awesome picture. Exactly what I would imagine a Tyranid invasion to be like. Overwhelming. In every unit from your army has the Hive Tendril keyword, and they all come from the same Hive fleet. Then at the start of each battle round, you can choose to activate one Synaptic Imperative. So everybody has to have the Hive Tendril keyword. We don't know who's going to have that, but they all have to be from the same Hive fleet. So that is going to give you a strong incentive to pick a single Hive fleet and not to like multi-fleet. Interesting. These are powerful aura-like abilities that radiate from each and every Synapse unit in your army until the end of the round. And depending on your swarm composition, you'll be able to pick between a jaw-dropping 10 of them. So all the Synapse creatures will have this basically aura ability coming from them. So you want to kind of space them out to, envelope your entire army. Will make Synapses definitely more valuable than it previously was. And then depending on your composition, you'll be able to select from the 10 total. So depending what units you take with Synapse will probably affect, influence, determine which ones you're able to use, and then perhaps we will see some Hive Fleet specific ones. Perhaps not. We'll see. Each breed of Synapse creature in your army grants access to different synaptic imperatives. Think of it as a beast transmitting a specialized instinct across the rest of the Hive Mind's command beacons. So if you have a Hive Tyrant in your army, perhaps courtesy of the massive new combat patrol, you'll be able to activate the Relentless Ferocity ability. Okay, so we have Relentless Ferocity. That is the Hive Tyrant's specific ability, so you'll get that for taking a Hive Tyrant. While this Synaptic Imperative ability is active for your army, a friendly Hive Tendril unit is within 6 inches of this Synapse model. The unit is eligible to declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. So taking a Hive Tyrant in your army will grant any units within 6 inches of any Synapse creature the ability to declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. So basically, you'll be able to fall back from combat towards a Synapse creature, sort of regroup in that same turn, and then charge again. That's pretty cool. It's sort of like, waves breaking on the beach. Sort of like crashes into something, pulls back towards the Synapse creature, and then can crash back into something again. Priority. Very cool. I like that. Relentless Ferocity is perfect for repositioning and keeping up pressure on the front lines, as allies within 6 inches can launch fresh charges even after falling back. Remember, this doesn't just affect units near your Hive Tyrant. If chosen, every Synapse unit in your army will start emitting the Synaptic Imperative. You can't pick the same synaptic imperative more than once per battle, and you'll need to... Oh, that's interesting. And you'll need the unit that grants it to actively be on the battlefield. But those are the only restrictions. Okay, so similar to a Space Marine doctrine, well, kind of. You'll only be able to use it once per battle. So I wonder if you leave it active, can you use it for multiple turns, or do you have to switch it every turn? That's definitely interesting. And then if somebody doesn't want you to have a certain synaptic imperative, they can try to kill off all your Hive Tyrants or kill off all your XYZ. So it will make them want to target priority targets more to keep you from having key abilities. That's very interesting. There are very big rewards for those who pack their army with a wide range of Synapse creatures, and who can pick the right moment to trigger their imperatives. However, if one of these creatures dies before you can use its imperative, you lose the option for good. So don't let the enemy eliminate all your Tyranid Warriors before you have a chance to fire off Goaded to slaughter. So the Tyranid Warrior Synapse Imperative, Goaded to slaughter. While this synaptic imperative ability is active for your army and a friendly Hive tendril unit within 6 inches of the Synapse model, each time a model in the unit makes a melee attack, an unmodified hit roll of 6 scores 1 additional hit. So exploding 6s in melee, that could be very strong, obviously. Very strong. Hormagaunts and Genestealers are scary enough. Now imagine them getting extra hits while they're within 6 inches of Tyranid Warriors. Now imagine them getting extra hits while they're within 6 inches of any Synapse creature in your army. Your warriors don't even need to be near them. They can hang back in the rear, blasting away with venom cannons and death spitters, and broadcasting their terrifying instincts through other Synapse units on the front lines. It isn't all aggression, though. The alien and unknowable hive mind can bring its immense psychic powers to bear through Zoanthropes, activating the Warp Shield ability to protect its most essential combat bioforms. So Zoanthropes Synaptic Imperative, Warp Shielding. While this Synaptic Imperative ability is active for your army and friendly Hive Tendril units within 6 inches of this Synapse model, monster models in that unit have a 4+ invulnerable save. Models excluding monster models in that unit have a 5+ invulnerable save. So that is very good. Giving all monsters a 4+ invulnerable save is absolutely phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal. And then everything else having a 5+ invulnerable save. I mean, that's literally making all your gaunts, all your everything 33% more durable, because pretty much everything has some AP. Most gaunts have little to no save, so giving everything a 5+ invulnerable save is just, I mean, that's killer. I mean, it's basically like getting 33% more gaunts for free. Now, obviously, you have to be within 6 inches of a Synapse creature, so they have to be splashed out through your army pretty regularly. But I'm sure there will be other things that extend the Synapse or aura range as well. But so far, I mean, this is probably the best one. The durability this provides is just absolutely ridiculous. And then you got to figure a lot of your monsters have Synapse also, so they're basically going to grant themselves and anybody else nearby a 4+ save. And obviously the monsters would be some priority targets, so man, that is stunning. That's really good. This Synaptic Imperative adds amazing survivability to your tide of ravenous critters, granting 4+ invulnerable saves to monsters and 5+ invulnerable save to everyone else. Your foes will really have something to worry about when you thrust a heap of suddenly nigh invulnerable carnifexes into their most valuable units. With 10 different Synaptic Imperatives to choose between, include one tied to a certain newly spotted skyborn gribbly, you'll have mouth-watering menu of strategic options for overrunning your cowering foes. So obviously they're referring to the Parasite of Mortex. Enjoying this Tyranid rule autopsy? Sign in to a Warhammer community newsletter to ensure you don't miss out on the juicy stuff to come. So in here we see basically, a front line. Nice looking army right there. Yeah, I mean, these are pretty awesome. Obviously, all vary quite a bit. Exploding sixes is nice. The durability seems really, really good. Obviously, being able to fall back and charge is nice. Now, I may not have just picked up on the wording specifically, but it sounded like you can only activate each one once. But it doesn't sound like it only lasts for a turn. So if you pick the durability and everything has 4 up or 5 plus invulnerable save respectively, it sounds like you could just have that in effect. But once you change off of it, you can't come back to it. And if all of your Zoanthropes are dead, you can't pick it again. But I don't know if it would still say active if all your Zoanthropes are dead. Seems like probably not. But it does seem like you could stay on it for multiple turns. As long as you don't change off of it, you can never change back. And then who knows if there will be, strats that will allow you to switch back to one you've already used or stay in one even after, the last of that specific synaptic creature is dead. We don't know what's going to happen there, but I would imagine there'll be something similar to that. So I really like these rules. Definitely going to change the way the Tyranids operate. I mean, coupling these with the specific Hive Fleet special abilities and, stratagems, warlord traits, etc., is going to really change how the army plays. And now, not only are you going to be including units specifically for their own abilities, but also units will become like auto-includes because of the synaptic abilities that they essentially grant to your army. I mean, I really like that. These synaptic imperatives seem awesome. It's basically like combat doctrines for Tyranids. I love it. I love the idea of it. I think in game terms, they're probably going to be very fun and very strong. And this will allow you to essentially shift the dynamic of your entire army, kind of like real time on the spot. So if you're facing someone you need that extra durability, you've got it. If you're in a situation where durability is less important, but you really need extra killing power, something like exploding sixes is key. If you need to basically just get into combat to stay alive, and then once you're in combat, falling back and then smashing back against a key priority target, obviously the warrior doctrine. I really like this. So we've obviously seen 3 of them. We know there's a 4th one coming for the Parasite of Mortex. I'd be interested to go through the actual current codex and see how many different synaptic creatures there are currently. Is it basically 9 and then the Parasite is 10? That sounds about right. It seems like there would be more than that, but I guess realistically, that probably does sound about right. Depending on how they classify something like a Swarmlord, does he count as a Hive Tyrant? Or will he have a different imperative? Yeah, definitely interesting. Same with like a Zoanthrope versus like a Neurothrope. Neurothrope is really just going to count as a Zoanthrope, so it'll just grant like that same one. I would imagine that's how it would be. But that is very interesting. And then if there's 10 of them, I can't think off the top of my head. I guess there's like the Bio Titan that would have like Synapse. I can't think if like there's other Forge World that has Synapse, and if it would just kind of fall into the category of like its respective. So like the same way like a Hive Tyrant and like a Swarmlord is sort of like a branch off of a Hive Tyrant, or like a unique Hive Tyrant or special Hive Tyrant, if it just falls under the Hive Tyrant like wing of things. And then if something like the Turvagon, is kind of its own right, and then maybe, I don't know, like the Biotitan kind of falls under like the mutated like Turvagon kind of like thing. Just full speculation. Obviously, I'm not sure. But I mean, you have things like the Tyrannocytes and stuff like that are Synapse, I believe. Wait, I might have said the wrong thing. Tyrannocyte? I think that's right. So definitely interesting. I really like the idea of this. I like how much diversity it's going to bring to the army. It will incentivize you to specifically take certain units. It will incentivize your opponent to kill certain units that are granting like phenomenal abilities. So if you only have one Hive Tyrant in your army and you're planning on using that Hive Tyrant ability, that's going to make them like prime targets. I would imagine Zoanthropes are the same way. They're going to, like, normally they would draw some fire, but they're pretty durable with their invulnerable saves. So, now they're going to have strong psychic powers, and they're going to be granting your whole army like extreme durability. So now all of a sudden they're probably going to draw a ton of extra fire. So maybe now one unit's not enough. You might need to take 2 units to make sure that you don't lose that ability. Or, whatever you're prioritizing. I really like it. Definitely looking forward to this. I'm super excited for the new codex. We've already taken a look at the combat patrol. This is like the first real look at the rules, with the exception of like the Parasite of Mortex. But I will definitely keep doing follow-ups on these, as I assume they will continue to trickle out over the next month or so, in anticipation of the combat patrol, the codex, and whatever other new units we get as well. So let me know if I missed anything, if you have any input, feedback, questions, anything like that. Always like to hear from you guys. Definitely appreciate all the positivity. Make sure you like and subscribe for more Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, warcry content. Appreciate each and every one of you. Absolutely loving all the positive interactions, comments, all the brand new subscribers. And you guys know, obviously, we are a commission-based studio. So not only do we do kind of like reactions, reviews, and news, daily updates, but also show off commissions as we complete them and they go out of the studio. And then we have tons of tutorials on painting, crafting, modeling, converting, magnetizing, lighting, pretty much anything to do with the tabletop hobby. So make sure you check those out as well. And that's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.